Hello, Internet, and thank you very much for tuning into the Cloud Native FM podcast. Today is day 03 coverage of KubeCon London, and let me go straight to my guests that are actually in live from London. So let me go first to my friend Richard Simon. Richard, you are now live.
Hey, hello everybody. Hello to all the Cloud Therapist subscribers, to all the Cloud Native subscribers. We are live again from KubeCon London. Welcome everyone.
And my another field reporter, Colin Griffin. Colin, how are you?
Woo!
Okay, good. So we have some issues with your voice. Can you do it? Can you say it again?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Up now.
Now we can.
Oh, good. We can hear
Now
you.
we can.
Okay.
So, let's do this together. KubeCon London.
KubeCon London.
Break the
Break.
all-time attendance
All-time record. Did I hear it was 13,000 now? Is that what I
Yes.
heard?
Absolutely.
Woo!
I think yesterday I heard 12,500, and today there's a news around
Right.
13,000. So,
Yes.
Richard, you city did some great job hosting KubeCon. It's been a great show.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So one by one, first I go to the Colin and then go to the Richard back. Then Colin, tell us what did happen today. I hope you did some talks today on the KubeCon, the main KubeCon. Tell us what that is, what the topic actually shared with the attendees or listener to what that talk is all about.
Yeah, we had a talk today on the importance of platform as a product and that kind of new concept to the cloud native in general. So we had a lot of fun. Packed room. We had over 600 people sign up for it. So really glad that type of topic is so important this year. Really expect that to be the next wave. But an awesome day here at KubeCon so far. Can't wait for it to continue.
Awesome, great. So Richard, I'm now going back to you. And Richard, actually, we lost Richard for a minute as well. Oh my God. I believe Richard clicked the wrong button. Oh yeah, so Richard is back. Richard,
I'm back. Don't worry.
Yes.
Not going too far away.
Awesome. So Richard, tell us a little bit about what your day is going to look like, what you have been actually you're meeting with people. As you met some folks on the offline interview.
We've done some offline interviews as well. So those will be coming out presumably on both our channels. So I've been speaking to Kubernetes. We've been speaking to Pulse, which is part of the big data team. So lots of really good interviews going on. Lots of really good conversations as well. I've just kind of been meeting people around the lunchtime period and so on. So that was good fun. And I actually bumped into Kelsey Hightower as well. So he was around. Unfortunately, Kelsey's seemed to have lost his voice. He's been doing so much talking. He's actually lost his voice. So I actually lent him some of my throat pastels for today. So that's my claim to fame today, that I helped out the legendary Kelsey Hightower.
Oh, that's perfect. Just one news. I think I'm looking at the CNCF blog post around today, and they said Cloud Native Computing Foundation announces Ant Group as the top end user award. So any one of you knows about Ant Group or anybody heard about this thing? Ant Group, Richard or Colin, because they won the end user award. And
I don't know. I haven't. No, I haven't. I mean, there's so many announcements and stuff going on here. It's impossible to keep track of everything.
Okay, good. And one of the news is that Fusion Stack, an intent-driven platform orchestrator for, I think they actually been very heavily involved in the Fusion Stack. That is, I think, me and Richard and Colin, we need to actually talk to these people as well, because they have some wonderful project within the ecosystem. They have Carper, they have Karmada, they have so many other projects in the Fusion Stack. I haven't spent time in the recent year what the Fusion Stack is, but it's a very good area of research what this Ant group has been doing in the Fusion Stack as well, how different projects have been rolled out as well in the future. But I think we have some very good guest lineup today. So Colin, I think we will be going to the tail scale today on some interviews. So I will allow you to move and we can join. We can find them. We can have some conversation with them. So over to you.
Sounds good.
So
Yeah, I'll see you in a minute.
awesome. Your walking start right now. Good. So now, Richard, tell us a little bit about your conversation with some of the community member today around what are the common things you heard from the people who are actually here at KubeCon? What their area of interest? Some of the folks you have talking to, some of the offline conversations, some of the offline interviews. What was
Yeah.
the trend you have been noticing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely platform engineering seems to be the top thing. I managed to actually get myself into a book signing queue last night, which was very fortuitous and completely by accident. But three guys had actually written a book called Platform Engineering for Architects. And yeah, they were book signing, and I managed to get a copy. I don't have it with me, of course, anymore. It's a bit heavy to carry. It's quite thick book. But I did speak to them, and hopefully we'll get them on on an interview at some point as well, and kind of talk about their book and review their book as well. So that'll be cool. So yeah, definitely platform engineering. The other aspects have been things like AI and where kind of AI, generative AI, sort of comes in as well. I think it's really early days for a lot of that sort of stuff. I'm not really seeing a huge amount of that. I know we've talked about kind of AI coming in with on things like observability and metrics and things like that. And the question I wanted to pose yesterday, which I didn't get a chance to because we were moving so fast in the live stream, was so if we add AI to things like observability and all the metrics and what have you, does that make it AI ops? Are we just talking about AI ops basically? So I don't know. How are you going to define the difference between those two? If putting AI and observability together does not equal AI ops. I think it does, but we'll see. Because I mean, essentially, that's kind of really the domain of where sort of AI ops has been operating.
Awesome.
All around the space that we had before Gen AI, and obviously subsequently as well.
Sorry to interrupt you, Richard, but we have some guests with us today. And Richard, Colin, can you hear us? Can you introduce our guest with our audience today?
Yeah, we can hear you. Hey, I'd like to introduce Sam from Tailscale. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Sam. Nice to meet you.
Okay, right? Since this is the first one, we're beta testing here.
Yes, absolutely. So, Sam, can you give us a quick intro of yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Sam. I'm a product manager at Tailscale. I'm particularly invested in our developer experience and identity realm. And I've been at Tailscale for about 2 years.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Can you give us a little bit of a elevator pitch about Tailscale, what they do, what their customer base are, and what you do in the open source world?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tailscale is a secure modern networking tool built on top of the WireGuard protocol. We create a mesh network between all of your devices and infrastructure, no matter where they live in the world. Tailscale really dramatically simplifies the process of using WireGuard. It's an excellent open source project, and Tailscale takes it one step further by handling the key management, the network map creation, and authentication with SSO. Our open source involvement is pretty varied. So we're huge in the Go ecosystem. We maintain and contribute to several packages, including the Go implementation of WireGuard, which we're contributors to. We also, our client code is in Go. It's open source. That's something that the community is welcome and encouraged to get involved with. And beyond that, in the Kubernetes world, we just announced that our operator for Tailscale is generally available. That's open source as well. And we're always happy for community contributions there too.
I'm happy about that too.
Awesome, great. So just a few questions around. I think currently, if you look at the landscape, we see there's a runtime security, there's a policy enforcement, then there is a management administration challenges around Kubernetes and cloud native tooling. So if I ask you, where does the Tailscale fit in, and what are how does actually solve the bigger umbrella of security problem? So can you give just some of the guidelines around that?
Yeah, I think one of the things that Tailscale makes really easy with the operator is if you're having, like concerns about how you're protecting access to your kube control APIs, My favorite part about the operator is we have the API server proxy that we can spin up for you. You can bind that to Tailscale identities with SSO. It lets you do really fine-grained policy management for using like the kube control APIs as a developer. We hear from a lot of users that, bastions are some way they do it. Some people keep it exposed to the public internet with authentication. Tailscale is really trying to play in that space of making the developer infrastructure access a lot simpler. And so the Kubernetes operator is a key part of that.
Awesome, absolutely. And you also mentioned the WireGuard project as well. So I think can you give us a little bit of elevator pitch and how long has been project is existing and what your main contribution to this project is?
You don't know. You can say it's okay.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I don't know how long WireGuard's been around, but WireGuard is hugely popular even outside of the Tailscale world. What makes WireGuard so special and what I love about it is that it's a really simple and elegant implementation of something that was previously very complex and hard to understand. You can sit down and read the WireGuard code base in a sitting and understand it. And I think that makes it like much more approachable for folks who want to experiment with networking and security to be involved with the WireGuard project. And so that I would say that's one of my favorite things about it.
Awesome, thank you. Usually my number one question to the people when actually I talk to them is around what is the best feature or what is the best one thing that your customer is mostly love about your product these days?
Yeah, the thing that I hear most from customers about Tailscale that I love is that it just works. There's very little config when you're setting up Tailscale in your environment. I think this is so special because networking is so frequently a challenging landscape. As like the number of networks you need to manage across cloud providers, regions, offices grows, Tailscale is like a common interface that you can use to tie all those things together. And we've worked really hard to make the interface something that just works out of the box.
Awesome, and I think one of the confusion or one of the complexity of the security in general is like sometimes people feel like you compromising the developer experience. We know security is a very important tool in the nobody actually is a top priority. You can't compromise that, but sometimes you deteriorate the developer experience. And in the platform engineering world, we talk a lot about this developer experience. So, what are your insights on in it? Like how you look at the platform engineering space in general, and how actually security, where the security fit into this platform engineering space?
I think that there's a couple of things at play. The first is that like you said, security can't be compromised. And so often the other side of the equation is, so we'll just subtract developer experience. We won't worry about that because security is the most important. I think Tailscale, our philosophy is that when we're developing tools like the Kubernetes operator that are open source, we're going to go the extra mile to make sure that we don't have to make that trade-off. The thing about Tailscale for developers is that ideally it's mostly invisible to them, right? Like they install it on their machine to use, and then the platform engineering team has configured the security controls that Tailscale provides that are sort of transparent in the background, but it should just work for the developer. Like this is the main thing about platform engineering that I think is key is the goal of a platform is to be built on top of, right? And so we want to be building tools that make it easier for developers to build on top of the platform.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want to expand on that a little bit, Sam.
Yes, absolutely. Please do that.
Yeah, it's great. So we've started using Tailscale and automatically distributing it down to clusters that we manage. And that's made it incredibly easy to expose private workloads that are running on those clusters back to the developers. But we're also taking it an extra mile, which is a lot of fun. When a developer runs a local Kubernetes cluster, we're attaching that to an upstream instance as well and automatically distributing the Kubernetes operator, Tailscale Kubernetes operator down. So a developer never even actually has to make a manual installation step or exchange any secrets. That can be taken care of them by the platform team. And we can also distribute additional tools alongside that, including the workloads and the code spaces and environments that they need related to their projects. So it's been a lot of fun from the platform side because we don't need to do any manual token exchange and all that stuff. We can just set that up ahead of time. So a lot of fun. Big fan.
Thank you.
Awesome, absolutely. And just the one use case around the what we call is on-prem Kubernetes. I work with some of the customers. They have some huge challenges for the on-prem Kubernetes. They don't. If you live in the on-prem environment, how does the Tailscale or some of the functionality they provided can be a better fitted solution for on-prem customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tailscale, I think one of the things we've worked very hard is to provide like a unified interface for building a network, regardless of where the infrastructure is deployed. And so the experience of installing the Tailscale operator, for example, in an on-prem cluster versus maybe something running like in a managed Kubernetes service should be almost exactly the same, right? Most of our users tell us they don't need to make any changes to the Helm chart to get started, no matter where they deploy. And so I think that's a place where Tailscale really shines with the operator. This is such a like key use case for Tailscale, like these on-prem environments, especially like Kubernetes at the edge, to be able to rely on Tailscale to do the like the NAT traversal, the WireGuard tunneling, all of the key exchange, so that can be transparent. I think it's really special.
That's wonderful. And now I think that's a one usual question after hearing about all of this conversation. Let's say if anybody, a new user, want to go into the Tailscale website. So how they actually, what is their onboarded process for using the Tailscale project?
Yeah, so onboarding for Tailscale is super simple. You sign in with SSO, you download the client and you authenticate it, and it's in your Tailnet. Now with one device, you don't really see the magic yet, but what I would encourage people to do is, if you think about a home lab situation where, you're behind your, residential ISP, put it on a computer that's on your home internet, put it on your cell phone on like cellular data, and then just start like pinging back and forth as the first thing you do, and you'll see how easy Tailscale makes something that used to be so hard. You have like dynamic DNS and all of these things that you would set up to be able to like contact your home infrastructure from a cell phone, and Tailscale just makes it dead simple.
Awesome, absolutely. I love what you actually praised, and you are also a very good product manager. I think in their team as well. Usually these are not an easy topic to share with the people, but you did a wonderful job. So our Richard is also here from our Cloud Therapist YouTube channel. Richard, can you hear us? There's a background noise behind you. If you have some questions for our guest, you can ask.
Well, I've been on mute until now, so yes. I'm not sure it's the background from me. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, I think for me, it's kind of really how do you guys kind of try and make it easy of use for users? Really, what's kind of the main thing that you're looking at, and what's kind of some of the type of solutions and whether you kind of provide examples and things like that for customers. What's kind of, what are customers really kind of asking you about in that space?
Yeah, as like a product manager, one of the things that I think is really important about our product, and that I try to make sure we maintain as we develop new features, is that it should always work out of the box as much as possible. I think one of the pitfalls of building developer tools and infrastructure tools is when you unbox the tool for the first time and find a giant control panel that you need to fiddle with. I think Tailscale from the early days, the founders put such care into that early experience, and we've tried to continue doing that. And so we think really hard when we're building features at Tailscale about that day zero experience of what do you see when you open the box, and how can we make that something that works without having to do a lot of config.
And also, I think just one question on the security angle as well. Usually, when you work on the system or on the cluster, there's usually a different open source project or different projects work together to solve one pain point of the customer's problem, and you're developing the solution. So, what are some of the interoperability that the Tailscale brings in to other cloud native solution, or what are some solutions that you actually work in the past to have contributed to, or how Tailscale can work, unify, and solve some of the bigger challenges in that space?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we see customers do sometimes is, they come to us with an existing service mesh, maybe Istio Envoy that they're using, and so they have sort of that intra-cluster networking figured out. That's all sorted, but they say maybe I have a database that's outside the cluster, or I want to talk to another cluster in another region, and that once you leave the confines of a Kubernetes cluster, you're kind of out in the Wild West. And so I think one of the places where Tailscale can shine is if you're really happy with Istio Envoy, that sort of service mesh setup, but you have that sort of like external cluster networking need. We play really nicely together with those two solutions, and I've seen several customers that have implemented that in production.
Yeah, one of the things that I would say probably is that it's a modern solution that happens to work with legacy applications. Well, I don't want to say applications, but like legacy use cases. Instead of a legacy application, we're trying to cram into a modern way of operating.
Awesome, Sam. That's some wonderful conversation. Love your enthusiasm and knowledge around this topic. And hopefully, me and Richard will connect with you in the near future sometime. A deep dive project introduction to our YouTube channel, so we can know more about this wonderful project that your team is working on. But just few questions around KubeCon in general. So, how many KubeCon you have attended? And if I ask you, what's make London a special event?
Okay, so this is my second KubeCon, and I would say, you know what I love about London is the public transit. If I'm from America, we famously don't have great public transit, so that's really nice. Agreed.
Absolutely. And Richard, do you have any final questions for speaker before we let him go?
No, I mean, I think it's kind of what I'm hearing is really very good. I think I'd kind of like to see how the tools kind of the solutions progress in the future. At the end, we'd love to have you on to have further conversations about.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sam. It's been great talking to you. Finally meet you. Hopefully meet you in the near future as well. But definitely we'll hang you out on the podcast on the detail some kind of what the project is doing. It's been the way you're phrasing. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the listener and the viewer of this podcast to check and explore this booth as well. So before I let you go, where your booth is currently? Let's say if anybody watching this YouTube channel now and they wanted to, so it's right behind you. Oh, good, awesome.
Come in the S9 door in the hall. We're right dead ahead.
Oh, awesome, great, awesome. It's right behind you. It's visible, so people can see who are the people they need to talk to as well. Thank you very much, Sam, for joining us. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great. Call Richard. Did you able to find some chain guard folks, or we go to the booking.com?
Yeah, unfortunately, both are not available at the moment. I had a feeling the chain guard guys wouldn't be because they've been extremely busy, and I've been trying to get a slot with them, but unfortunately they couldn't. But we may still be able to do some offline interview tomorrow, so I'm going to try and do that if I can, and we'll obviously make that available on both our channels as well in the future. So yeah, that's that. And then the lady I was trying to speak to is from Booking.com. So I really kind of just wanted to. She's a senior solution architect, I believe. And Booking.com is just another company that happens to be using this kind of thing. And I'm always interested in hearing from customers. That's kind of the interest for me, and to kind of see how they're really using cloud native tools and embracing things like Kubernetes and DevOps, and how they're basically changing their culture to adopt.
I think right behind you there's a booth of Red Hat, and they seem like they are free. If you can be able to talk to them, like right behind you.
Let me see. Yes, I can see Red Hat.
Yes. I think
they're not exactly free. There's a lot of talking going on.
Okay, sure.
Let me see if I can catch anybody there. Seem to be in conversations at the moment, so we'll maybe try and come back to them.
Okay,
I will see. Yeah, so I think on this side, which is what is this? This is the northern hall. So what they've done here is they've opened up 6, 7, 8, 9, I think, into one big massive hall. These are the Excel Center halls, and then they have a northern side, and then they have a south side to that. And then there are breakouts which are all separate. I think most of them downstairs, actually, in another floor below. So that's how it's kind of mainly I think, laid out. I don't know if Colin, in his adventures,
Colin.
managed to find any other nooks and crannies, but that's
Okay.
those are the main ones that we can see at the moment.
Colin,
So I may actually try and skip over to the other side. So I'm on the northern side. I'm going to try and go to the south side and see if I can find some folks to speak to there as well.
Colin, can you hear us? Do you have any guests lined up? I am not able to hear you. Won't able to hear you. Won't able to hear you. Colin, you are not audible. You're not audible. No. You're not audible. No. Richard, please.
Yeah, I'm going to go over to the other side. So,
No.
yeah, I'm just looking at the chain guard stand. Unfortunately, all the contacts are no longer there. So,
Colin, we can't hear you, unfortunately. Can you try again? No. We can't hear you. Richard, can you hear you? Can you hear Colin?
no, I can't.
So of course, okay. So Collins, I think must be there's messed up on some audio. They have some guests. That's good.
I'm going to go over, and as I said, we'll probably lose the signal, but I'll come back on as soon as I can.
Oh, sure. Colin, can you try again? Can you speak again? No. No. Sure, I'm waiting. No worries. While Colin is actually joining us, I shared some news around KubeCon.
Yeah, so I've made it to the south side, I think. This is the south side hall. So I can see -0 or -0. They have a kind of a car racing team theme, I think, going on their
Formula
stand.
One kind of
about
oh my God, they have
pit stops and things like that. They have pit stops. They have all their guys are dressed up in red.
Oh my God, they are Ferrari
In red.
Colin, can you
Well,
speak?
it's the -0 crew, right? Right. They're doing
Can you
lots of
speak,
demos.
Colin?
They're quite busy at the moment.
We stumbled into
Can you speak again, Colin? Yes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so I have some guests. I have Catalogic with Cloud Casa.
Oh, good, wonderful.
The best backup solution you've never heard of, but you need to.
Yes, 100%. So, Richard, we are going with our guest live. So I'm muting you for a minute. So over to you, Colin.
Yeah, so I want to let these guys introduce themselves. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Hi, Ryan Call here, VP of Sales.
Yeah.
And hi, Pavel Stanis here, CDO of Catalogic Software and Cloudcast.
Okay, good.
So let them have it.
Awesome. Can you give them some introduction about their product, if there's some open source solution, and what the guys are up to?
Sure, I'm Ryan. Sure. So Cloud Casa is data protection for Kubernetes, right? So we have a SaaS offering as well as a self-host offering. So we support every distribution of Kubernetes. We can back up the cluster, a specific namespace, all different resources, or even just the persistent volumes themselves. Supports databases, backs up to object storage, some really unique things that we can do around disaster recovery. We can spin it up in hyperscalers to create clusters on the fly and reattach the persistent storage. We provide granular file level recovery of a PVC as well. We support virtualization in containers, so KubeVirt we support as well. So SUSE virtualization, OpenShift virtualization. We support all of that.
And leave some for the rest of it.
Anything to add? No. Have you covered the latest release and the file level? Yes, I just said. Okay. Yeah, so the file level restore, and then you can select VMs to back up restores as well too. That's important.
Same. Do your worst. Did you have any questions about disaster recovery or Valero or like what you got?
Yes, absolutely. I think I look at I not much aware about the project, but I know a little bit about the company what they're doing as well. So I can one thing I really love about because you have a wonderful dashboard where the user can see all of the detailed data set, how much my different virtualization things are actually going. That would be great one to see. So we live in the platform engineering space, and we spoke about developer experience. It's kind of a very big thing for us. How do you look at this thing, the developer experience, the UI, giving these solution to developer? How you actually, how some of your customers and the developer using your solution to solving some of the challenges that their customers actually have?
I think some of the nice things about the UI as well, right? We have multi-tenancy. We could create role-based access control, so you can even do things like namespace as a service as well, and then give them recovery of specific files, right? So they can just go into the UI and say, hey, these are my files I want to restore, and I can select the target clusters that I have access to and restore it back to that target cluster and that specific PVC. So that's part of our latest release, all incorporating role-based access control.
And also, I think we live in the multi-cloud, multi-regional space. That is a lot of the companies has been doing this solution as well. So what is some of the solution you are providing for the multi-cloud use cases?
I think when we talk about multi-cloud, right, we can support every distribution. It doesn't matter where it says, where it's on-prem, edge, and in like the hyperscalers as well, right? And some of the nice things about our solution is we can help move it to between different cloud providers as well, depending on if it's advantageous for you. So I like think application mobility as well.
Awesome, great. And also, I think on the rise of the AI, there's a lot of the challenges for a lot of the companies on the data sovereignty. We also have monitoring observability, and people think like when you actually store these metrics, or they live in the cloud, or they live in their own data center. These are huge challenges. So AI add more things in the table. So I'm hoping there are some customers, some people have reached out to you for solving these AI-based challenges related to the data sovereignty. What are those challenges you have been seeing customer are asking you all the time?
Behind the scenes on TV.
I think we've seen, I mean, Kubernetes, you can slice and dice it in many different ways. Obviously, for us, anything is fair game, depending on if you're dumping stuff into the persistent volume, we can obviously protect that. But we've also seen where the data is stored outside of Kubernetes and so forth. That's kind of outside of our realm though, and that's something else. I don't know if we'll expand our scope to protect things outside of Kubernetes just yet, but anything data stored in PVs, all fair game to us to protect, back it up, and so forth.
Awesome. And what are some of the solution, the cloud native solution you are using under the hood in your solution,
So with Valero, obviously we use some components of Valero, right? But we've enhanced it with data movements, right? Certain things that Valero doesn't support is like immutable backups, and we can certainly support that as well. But we also do contribute, right? And we have maintainers a part of the Valero open source community as well. So we do contribute to it as well.
One natural question, Colin, no, that I usually ask people about this thing is like, what are one of the 2-3 feature you see all the customer is loving about in your product or in their solution? So what are those?
I think the latest release, the file level recovery, is a game changer as well, because nobody else is doing it. It just provides that level of convenience where you can go into UI and say, hey, this PVC, I want to select this particular file and restore it back into another cluster and so forth, right? So I think that's probably the biggest one.
And also
as far as some other open source as well, they're using K3s. They're integrated with Rancher also. So there are a number of other projects that they're friendly with.
Oh, good, wonderful. And also, I think the one more final question is like, some people actually been talking about you can replace etcd with some other MySQL or SQL, PostgreSQL. Have you worked with some of the customers that have been using not alternative to etcd solution for their Kubernetes data storage or some of the configuration data?
Yes, definitely we see a lot of, right. So we see Redis as well. So we support all those different types of databases that we can go ahead and protect via using some sort of templates to quiesce the database and back it up.
Awesome, great. And just final few questions around KubeCon. So how many KubeCon have you attended? And if I ask you to what makes a KubeCon London a special one?
I've been to too many KubeCons at this point. But what makes it special, I think, is the relationships and the people that you keep meeting at these events and the partnerships that you create as well, especially for me in sales, right? Partnerships is great, and trying to expand our ecosystem to support other things. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us from the KubeCon London. Hope to meet you. And we wish to have some more conversation with you on this YouTube channel so viewer can know more information about your product and they can able to reach out to you as well. Thank you very much, both of you, for sharing your time with us.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you. I'm going to turn off my camera, same, so I can move to the next spot. But thank you guys.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll be back.
Richard, we are now. I'm switching back to you. Can you hear me? You are unmuted. No.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now.
Fantastic. Excellent. Okay, so I'm at the Aviatrix stand. Actually, Aviatrix is one of my favorite companies, I have to say. And I'm not saying that for just because the CTO is standing right in front of me, and I'm going to have a chat with the CTO of Aviatrix. By the way, I'm a CTO as well for T-Systems, so we're in good company, I think, today. But yeah, nice to meet you as well. So we'll do some intros to Aviatrix, but I just love this whole kind of cloud networking space, and we're going to have a chat with Aviatrix in regards to that. So, sorry, I didn't have your name.
Sengupta.
Fantastic. Okay, so just a quick intro to yourself, please, first, and then what we'll do is we'll maybe just have a quick chat about Aviatrix and kind of some of your solutions, where you guys are up to, and then we'll kind of maybe expand the conversation a little bit. So just an intro to you first.
Yeah, hi, I'm Anirban Sengupta. I'm the CTO and SVP of engineering at Aviatrix here. As a background, I used to be running the engineering team at GKE, and before that, I built out the VMware NSX product, the virtualization and the security product. So at Aviatrix, we are a pioneer in cloud network security. So we built it grounds up for cloud, right? And it works on all clouds. It works hybrid cloud, on-prem, everywhere, right? And what we introduced here at KubeCon is we built the firewall, right, for Kubernetes, right? So we are one of the only companies that I know of which has built a pure play Kubernetes firewall, right? What we can do is that the firewall can support rules and policies based on KRMs. So people can write policies based on pods and nodes and namespaces, clusters, all of that, right? And the key use cases which we are solving, number one, we help against IP address exhaustion, which is all over the place, right? With Kubernetes, we solve micro segmentation and other network segmentation. So you can say that my prod workload cannot talk to my dev workloads. And also, last but not the least, we stop all the egress exfiltration. So you can write policies based on pods or nodes for all egress traffic. And we give full visibility through the firewall, right? We give monitoring, we give events so that the platform admin and the security admin can really look at Kubernetes flows, right, and decide whether to let it go or not.
Fantastic. So yeah, as I said, I really admire this space. I think it's kind of a little bit, it's an unsung hero, I think, of the kind of, the cloud and how kind of networking should really be working in the cloud. So yes, I think I've actually spoken to you guys before, and I think I've featured you on the channel as well, and just kind of what you guys have been up to and mentioned it a few times. Your CV is quite impressive as well. So GKE and all the other stuff that you've done in the past, NSX, I've certainly had brushes with that, NSXT, and so on as well. So that's certainly part of it as well. So what are some of the things that customers are telling you about? What are the sort of challenges that you're trying to solve for your customers at the moment?
Yeah, so if we look at like lately the new wave of applications, right, especially with Gen AI and ML applications, right, multi-cloud and hybrid cloud has become really crucial because the data is distributed, lot of data is generated at the edge. There is data in S3 buckets, right? So all of these, right, need to come to the cloud for running on either training or for inference, right? And then the applications can be anywhere, right? So even like in mobile devices, right? So all of these, right, like requires data to go from one cloud to another, and also from edge, colo, all over the place. So this what we provide is basically we provide a secure networking solution, right? So that when all these AI based data, and some of them are PII data, right, is going from one place to another, right, it can be done securely, right? And on top of that, right, there is security against exfiltration, lateral movement, command and control through our Kubernetes firewall, right? So it can really be a secure high speed solution, right, for new age applications. And last but not the least, what it really does is, with coming with the agentic AI, right, you can have tens and thousands of agents running, right? And somebody needs to provide that connectivity in a secure fashion so that all these agents can access the models, it can access the data, it can be trackable. So observability is a really, really important thing, right? Because you don't want to lose track of your agents, right? So observability, security, and networking, right? These are key for the world of agentic AI as well as Gen AI.
Fantastic. Did you hear, guys? That was AI agents. They're all under control with Aviatrix. So, what's the where is this kind of space going forward? What's kind of you kind of mentioned agentic AI and so on, or AI agents? That's certainly a space, or that's certainly a kind of something that people are looking at, and certainly this year's been the sort of the buzz for AI agents and things like that. But what's kind of the next sort of stage? Where do we see things going for the rest of this year, maybe into 2026? What's kind of maybe the next thing over the hill, if you like?
Yes. So this is generally what I say, that today, how I see it is that most enterprise, right, are grossly under investing in security and networking, right? So really, to get ahead in the game, right, what I tell all my enterprise customers is, number one, right, invest in this core infrastructure, which is networking and security, because one breach, right, is extremely expensive from all point of view. It's not just the reputation, right, the data loss, all of that is extremely expensive. So please, customers should look at investing in networking and security. Number two is about embracing multi-cloud, because if you really look at today's space, there are many models and agents that are being developed, right? And you can use the best of the breed so that you are able to build out applications at a fast pace. And last but not the least, right, what I talk about is that developer velocity, right? Without developer velocity, bringing new applications and services to market becomes extremely difficult. And we need to really have the developers do things fast and deploy fast, while, right, we need to make sure that the applications are secure and compliant. So these are the three key pieces which I say, looking forward, that companies should really look at.
Fantastic. I really appreciate that. I think that's really good advice for all enterprises out there. And I think certainly they'll find that useful. Okay, so one of the things that's kind of come up recently, I think I picked this up with Thousand Eyes as part of Cisco. And they were talking really about sort of having the ability, and I don't know whether this was the first time they had the ability, or they've kind of improving it or something, but it was kind of the ability to see every packet, end to end. Tell me a little bit about whether that's been possible with the public cloud providers, so the likes of AWS, Microsoft Azure, GCP in the past, or whether this is kind of relatively new, and then all the vendors in this kind of cloud networking space, or cloud network management, as I love to call it. I wish everybody would adopt that, because I think that's a really cool general term. But is that something that is kind of relatively new? Have you guys had this feature, or is this kind of something that's only now recently been made available by the public cloud providers?
So we are a 10-year-old company. So we started off with that in mind, right? What I generally say is that what you can't see, you can't secure, right? So observability and monitoring is fundamental, right, in securing your networks. And if you really look at it, that most of the CSPs, they don't have enough visibility or troubleshooting mechanism, because you have no access. It's kind of a black box. So if something doesn't work, right, you have to just be on a phone line asking for them, and it can be hours, sometimes it can be days, right? But we provide full end-to-end observability. We use standard networking things like traceroute and pings, and we provide all types of logging. We can export those logging to your favorite SIM, and we provide full end-to-end traceroute, right? We also provide firewall logs, so any customer can debug their own. They don't have to really wait for the CSPs, right? But we can provide the whole end to end. And uh, one of the things which has happened because of Kubernetes is a lot of it is obfuscated, right? Because a lot of NAT happens, IP addresses get reused all the time, pods are ephemeral, nodes are ephemeral, right? So it becomes really difficult to trace, right? So what we provide is we provide KRM based observability. So firewall admin, right, can really look at a flow, and they can figure out that this is going from a particular pod to a particular pod, even if the pod is in EKS and the other one is in GKE or AKS, doesn't matter, even OpenShift, right? They can track from all the way from the workload through the network across cloud to a different network to the different workload.
Fantastic, and that's what I like to hear. And end to end, a true end to end, and that's why I love aviatrics. That's kind of, I think they've been one of the certainly one of the, I think, interesting areas recently that people have been looking at. Well, I really appreciate your time. Hopefully, we can maybe get you on our channel at some point and just have a a deeper conversation about aviatrics and some of these kind of other areas that are happening as well. But really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Okay, so that was the aviatrics guys. Saim, over to you.
It's great to hear. I think they have some very good solution as they're speaking to us. I really admire the solution has been building up. So I think Richard, like any chances? I think I'm actually Colin is actually finding the Marantis booth, and he will be there soon. I hopefully. So we actually have next guest on the pipeline as well. So is there anyone near you who is actually being
Yeah,
easy?
I'm gonna try and walk around. I'm gonna try and
Okay,
walk
sure.
around and see who's available. I can see Nginx over on this side. Cloud Foundry is here. Sentry is here. And who else? We've got Cloud Native API Management from WSO2. Lights. I was hoping to see if Kelsey was around, because he said he might be back. He's actually helping out these guys, Q Labs.
Okay.
So we may be able to get a demo from Q Labs a little bit later if I can. I did see a demo of what they're doing. It's kind of in code policy type of stuff, which is, I think, really interesting. So we'll maybe able to do that. Let me see if I can kind of go down a little bit more. Just show you some of these smaller booths here that we have, these smaller stands. There's actually more on the other side as well. And if you can, I can just pan over to the other side, and you can see there's more folks on that side as well.
Yes, and
So let me walk
while
down a little bit more.
you were walking,
We got New
let's say,
Relic. Yeah.
yes, while you are walking, if you spot a booth of Cosmonic, you might actually be there as well. So Richard, I'm actually
Okay.
going back to Joe once more time. Colin having some guest with us, so he will be talking to
Okay.
some of the
Cool.
guests. So I will be muting you, and then I will get back to you. So Colin, over to you now. Can you hear me? Colin,
Yeah, can you hear
me?
us?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us where you.
Rick, sweet.
Great.
Let's try over there a little.
So can you actually adjust your camera so we can both see you? Yeah, good. Yes, now that's perfect. So please tell us where you are currently and who's standing next to you.
Yeah, so we're at the Marantis booth. It's a pretty awesome setup too, by the way. Nice comic book theme and everything else. But yeah, how about you tell us who you are, what you do, and a little bit maybe about Marantis, a quick little elevator pitch.
I'm Randy Bias. I'm the Vice President of Technology and Strategy at Marantis. I'm in charge of the Open Source Program Office, and I also do a bunch of things with a strategic advisory team that provides kind of white glove, consultative, and strategy services to customers who are trying to navigate their way through technology chaos.
Awesome.
Awesome, great. I think I have some wonderful friends from the Mirantes. They have some K0S project. They have Kubernetes Lens. They have Quadrant also been working on. One of my friend is actually working on this project. So can you be little bit of elevator pitch today, because Mirantes have so many solutions. They actually acquired Docker Swarm in the past, one of my favorite tool in the orchestration layer. But tell us a little bit about how you actually do an elevator pitch for all of the Mirantes solution that you are developing for the last few years.
I like to think of us as the Kubernetes company, if that's not too arrogant, right? And the reason I say that is, there hasn't ever really been a Kubernetes company, but that's literally all we do. Like, people will look at our OpenStack product, Mosque, and they'll say, well, you do OpenStack, but we put OpenStack on Kubernetes. Like, all of the OpenStack control plane and data plane runs on Kubernetes. Mosque means Marantis OpenStack on Kubernetes, right? That's how we were able to make our OpenStack scale and run at scale and be easy to upgrade. Like, none of our customers are running like 6-year-old versions of OpenStack. They're all within 1 to 2 years, because it's so easy to upgrade them because they're running Kubernetes. We've got Lens, which talks to Kubernetes. We've got Marantis Kubernetes Engine, which is our production grade enterprise Kubernetes. We got K0s, which is our Kubernetes distribution, which just got put into the CNCF sandbox. We got Cosmotron, our control plane for running Kubernetes. We got Cordon, which is our super control plane for running massive amounts of Kubernetes clusters. So I really think about us as being the Kubernetes company. And now, kind of, if you saw my keynote today, my whole point was, if open source is winning AI, which I believe it is, and if Kubernetes won open source, then we need to figure out how to make sure that Kubernetes helps open source finish winning AI. And that's where we see Cordon eventually going, which is being not only a super control plane, but the place where you can start to use to deploy AI and ML workloads.
I mean, leave some projects for the rest of us.
Awesome.
Some crumbs.
There you go.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, like, I love the work the team has been doing for the very long time for this project has been doing. So it's so great, nice to see. Can you a little bit tell about, like, what are your customer base? What are customers are? What are your features or solution? Because you have some entire family of the project, and how the Mirantis is actually adding some enterprise sports around these solution that we have been developing for the very long time. It's not you've been existing in this space for a very long time, and you are very active in this space.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's one of the places where we really differentiate ourselves. We're running at massive scale for most of these things. Our largest OpenStack deployments are one of the largest kind of travel agency companies in the world. It's 45,000 bare metal hypervisors. Right, 500,000 VMs. I can't actually say the name of the company. We have one of the major credit card companies as a customer that's running hundreds of Kubernetes clusters on MKE. 40% of their daily credit card transactions go over those Kubernetes clusters. Right, we've got some of the world's largest telcos running on top of us. So the thing that we've done a really great job of is not just doing OpenStack, doing Kubernetes, but actually running these at scale for real enterprise use cases and really learning kind of how to operationalize them. And I think that's something that really differentiates us.
Yes, and I think because you recently actually added a Cordon project. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. This is previously called Project 2A. I did a Wahab Ali from Mirantes. He did a presentation to me, and there's one other project that is using under the hood that's called Project Civiltos, where I actually introduced to this project as well. Can you tell little bit tell about the motivation behind adding this open source project in your inventory? What are some of the customer challenges or some of the things you have noticing and adding this project as an open source? What are the major use cases it's solving today?
Yeah, Cordon is our super control plane for Kubernetes, kind of a control plane for control planes, right? So the idea being that if you want to manage very large Kubernetes fleet, tens to hundreds or thousands of Kubernetes clusters, you need a single point of control to do that. So we wanted to build something that was as Kubernetes native as possible. We didn't want to create any secret sauce. We didn't want to, do anything that was strange. We wanted to make it kind of be as unopinionated as possible, just like Kubernetes is. So that's why we developed Cordant. And so in being unopinionated, we just made sure that we kind of cut it up into pieces. So we've got the cluster management piece, which is dependent on CAPI, cluster API. We've got the infrastructure provider piece, which is also using CAPI. We've got the state management piece, which is for managing your services and applications on top of your Kubernetes clusters. And that's using Project Svelte OS, which is this really fantastic. It's great. Yeah. This is a really fantastic open source project. And basically the idea was to have as little opinion as possible, to have something that was kind of plain Jane that then opinions could be layered onto, kind of like Kubernetes itself. Love it.
Awesome, absolutely. And before I let you go, can you tell us a little bit of roadmap? What's coming up next in the Mirantes for this year, and what is your customer base is actually asking more solution around? Which one of the particular domain you are having some more conversation with customers and they're finding some challenges and asking you to provide solution around that?
So we're really excited about solving problems around AI and ML, as I said, and we see a lot of opportunities. If you saw the keynote, we were showcasing taking G-Core's inference engine anywhere technology and putting it on top of Cordant and then delivering it for Nebel in Amsterdam so that they could have a sovereign GPU cloud in the Netherlands. And we're seeing a lot of interest in that. We're seeing countries that want to basically empower and make sure that they own their own AI. And so the best way to own your own AI is to build your own AI factory using open source software and open models. And so, that's kind of where we see our future, right? We're working on making sure that Cordon can provision and manage bare metal, that it integrates well into NVIDIA, and so that people can actually build their own AI factories on top of it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And before I let you go, how many KubeCons you have attended? And what if I ask you, what's make a London special one for you?
2.
Okay, good.
Part of the question? What makes London special? What makes London special to me? London was the very, very, very first place I traveled to overseas when I was young. When I was 23, my first trip overseas was to London. I came here in my bohemian outfit. I had a West African hand drum that I brought with me on the plane. I was out in one of the squares where all the tourists were, and there were all the buskers, and I was taking my hand drum and I was playing with the buskers when they would let me and just hanging out. I mean, I was 23, right? So it was all about kind of doing that backpacker thing. So yeah, that's for sure why London is special for me.
That's really cool. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's a great background.
Oh, that's a wonderful story to actually hear about as well. But thank you very much. I hope to meet you in the near future once again in this channel, so we can have a bigger conversation. You did a keynote that is on my radar when the videos is going to be uploaded on the CNCF YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much for joining us live from London and sharing your insight for the Mirantes. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Over and out.
Good. So, Colin, we are now going back to Centasso, where Richard is actually been interviewing some folks.
There we go. Thank you.
You had me on mute. We're back. Okay. I can't hear you, Saeem.
So, Richard, please go ahead and talk
Okay.
with Paula Kennedy.
Well, I have Abby Bankser for you, so
Okay,
we
good,
can have a
good.
chat with Abby.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we're at the Syntasso Aquatic stand, and here is Abby. Abby, how you doing?
Great. How are you all doing?
Yeah, all good, thank you. So what you guys been up to at KubeCon London?
It
Uh,
feels like everything we've been up to. So we had Platform Engineering Day, have a 2-track session on Tuesday, and then here at the event, I ran a workshop yesterday. I had colleagues running a talk today, as well as a panel, and I have my final talk tomorrow. So yeah, just a lot of sessions, and then just chats about platform engineering at our booth. So.
Cool. So what were some of the themes at the Platform Engineering Day?
So the themes that I've been hearing reflected back, because it's always nice to say that, is that there's a lot about the socio-technical side of platforms. And it's really nice that that was the takeaway for people, because that was always the goal of Platform Engineering Day, was to take a moment to think about, outside of the projects, what benefits people, or what else people have to do. They have to worry about adoption and marketing of their platform and management of it. And I think people are really enjoying that side of things and getting a lot of value from it. So I'd say that from Platform Engineering Day, one of the biggest themes.
Fantastic. And what about at the sort of the show here? What's the kind of customers talking to you about? What have been some of the challenges that you've been hearing from them?
Yeah, so I think what we're seeing is that people have tools that they love using and they're getting a lot of benefit from, but their challenge is filling in the kind of grout or the gaps around those projects and those products. So they might have an infrastructure as code solution that they're really happy with, or a pipeline solution they're really happy with, but they're trying to manage around them and configure them and customize them. And so with Craddock's framework, it transforms each individual pieces of software into a coherent API. And that's really resonating with platform engineers, because what they're looking for is a more maintainable self-service experience for their app devs. But they need the great platform engineer experience, and so that seems to be fitting the bill for this year. So yeah.
Right. And are you seeing any sort of just kind of problems that customers are experiencing in terms of kind of adopting platform engineering, getting into platform engineering, kind of having come maybe from that more classical DevOps background, with those kind of tooling and those sort of platforms and so on? What's kind of the bridge that's maybe helping those customers adopt or adapt the way that they do things?
Yeah, so I'd say I noticed 2 major challenges maybe. So you mentioned for people coming from the DevOps mindset. The ones that are coming from a really strong DevOps culture are often struggling with toil. So they have a lot of work that they need to do, and being able to prioritize working on the platform itself has been, as like a architectural decision, is difficult to get. But similarly, during that transition phase, what we're seeing is platform engineering is re-centralizing ops. And you could kind of think, oh my gosh, we're going back in time. We're going back to before DevOps. What are we doing? But the nuance of value that platform engineering brings is it's re-centralizing ops in a democratized way and in an as-a-service way. If your platform engineering initiative is still sitting behind a single queue of new requests, then you are at risk of doing what Lou Bouchard calls ops in a trench coat, that old school ops, but calling it platform engineering. But when you start to build a platform that experts can bring from within your organization, can bring their services to, so that you actually make it so your whole organization is empowered to create services and request services, that's what we're seeing people do. So the way that we're helping people do that is we have a CLI tool that can take current automation, whether it be cross-plane compositions, Terraform modules, Helm charts, or operators, and take them from code implementations into API services with a single command. And that helps people get out from under that snow of trying to maintain their platform.
Yeah, because I think we've often talked about sort of customers, trying to get to grips with DevOps, changing their culture to obviously to adapt to agile and kind of DevOps methodologies and so on. So really, anything that kind of helps with that transition, helping them to move away maybe from those more traditional ways of doing things into kind of more platform engineering, SRE kind of approach. Because it's amazing that people have kind of adopted things like Kubernetes and containers, but they haven't really changed their culture that much. So I think that's have you seen a lot of that as well in terms of kind of customers having, either played with Kubernetes or actually have it in production, but they're still kind of working, with the old sort of processes, and their culture's kind of still, sort of a data center mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it takes a lot to make a change in that socio-technical way, and yeah, some organizations succeed in it faster than others. I don't think that's the one thing I would say is I don't think that the technology of Kubernetes requires you to completely change your organization. You can get benefits from Kubernetes even with a more data center-esque mentality at times, as long as you are treating it like infrastructure. But when you want to treat Kubernetes for the powerful API server that it is, and the more benefits you can get, that's when having that change in culture will also unlock those higher value additions to Kubernetes, I think.
God bless Kubernetes. What would we do without it, right? In the last 10 years. Exactly. Okay. So last question for you. What's been KubeCon London like? What's been London like for you in general?
London. So despite the accent, this is my hometown now. So I became a British citizen this year.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank
We're going to hang out more together, I think.
Clearly. Yeah, so I became a British citizen. It's really nice to welcome everyone to my city. And it's too bad the Excel is so far east. But what I'm hearing from people and attendees and people that everyone is getting in to get some good dinners, some good parties, and they're getting to experience some of the best weather you can ask for in April in London. So I'm glad that someone's looking out for us on the weather front. I'm
glad you picked up on the weather. You're a true Londoner now, definitely. Absolutely British with that one. So I really appreciate that. Okay, well, thank you very much, Abby. We're due to do our talk on the Cloud Therapist channel at some point as well. So we'll get together on that, and we'll keep you posted. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having me on, and hi everyone at home. I hope I see you at another event soon.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Excellent. Okay, so that was the guys at Tasso and Abby Bankser.
Awesome, good. So Richard, I think what we try, I think is Shweta from booking.com is able to join us, because this is actually another in the list of today's guest.
Okay, so is she with you? She's not with me.
Oh my God! So I think yes, you are in the project. You are in the vendor's booth. So I believe she will be in the project pavilion.
Yeah, I believe she was, but I couldn't. That's what I said earlier. I couldn't actually spot her there. So I did go to the Cube Armor. I think she said she was going to be at the Cube Armor stand, but unfortunately she wasn't. She wasn't there. So yeah, we're going to have to, I think, move on from that, and we'll try and get Shweta on for a separate talk. I think that'll be good. Because I think, as I said earlier, it's really important and useful to get other sort of views from customers as well. I think that's really very important as well.
Oh, absolutely. I wish, I think my wish list is on, if you find Cosmonic booth, we can talk about some WASM cloud there.
Look at this. Look at this. Cosmonic right there. Aren't you lucky? Look at this. Just got to Cosmonic. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Can you find someone who can talk to?
We can try, yes. Let's see if these guys are available for a quick chat. Hold on.
Oh,
okay, so we have Liam from Cosmonic, and we're going to have a quick chat with Liam now. So just bear with me for a second. Okay. All right. So Liam, just a quick intro to yourself, and then on to Cosmonic as well, please.
Yeah. My name is Liam Randall. I'm the CEO and founder of Cosmonic and co-creator of CNCF WASM Cloud. It's incubating. I also created the very first Kubernetes company in 2014 called Critical Stack. Also a large contributor to other incubating projects like Cloud Custodian. We're here helping companies adopt WebAssembly for platform engineering through Cosmonic. We lead the large CNCF WASM Cloud community, which has contributors from banks, telcos, automotive. And we're all passionate about adopting WebAssembly to address some of the security, operational, and performance challenges that we typically find in containers.
Fantastic. So just give us a little bit more sort of background on WASM Cloud. What's it about, and how's it kind of really helping customers, sort of orchestrate, WebAssembly code and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. WASM Cloud was designed for platform engineering from day one. It was based on my journey at a Fortune 100 bank in the US when we migrated the entire bank into the cloud, 5,000 applications, 15,000 developers. And what we found was that while we could run well with Kubernetes and containers, we couldn't do it cheaply, and there was a lot of overhead. Honestly, we ended up in the world's worst position where we had 5,000 teams, each fix the same vulnerability one time. And what we wanted was a world where one team could fix 5,000 applications at once. So we worked together with a growing ecosystem in the WebAssembly group to create the WebAssembly component model. And what that enables is this composition of applications, sort of like Lego blocks. So platform engineers can now put harnesses outside that they can keep up to date, and developers can just focus on their business logic. The community is great. We just went incubating at the last KubeCon. We have right now around 350 enterprise contributors, which is gigantic. By way of comparison, Cloud Custodian has around 100. It's used by everybody in the world. Istio has around 1,200. So we are one of the fastest growing projects in the CNCF right now.
Fantastic. So, what was the title of your talk, and what was your talk actually about? What were kind of some of the things that you did in the presentation?
Yeah, well, we brought a small contingent here, only 5 of us, but we had 7 talks actually this week. The talk that I just gave was called "You Can Deploy 1,000 Apps to Kubernetes, but Can You Keep Them Up to Date?" And I spent my time getting an honest and fair look at not only containers, but great orchestrators like like Knative and AWS Lambda, which are powerful, yet still suffer from problems like the cold start problem. What that means is because they take a long time to start, to meet your SLAs and SLOs, you have to run lots of copies of your apps, and you can only scale them down so low. WebAssembly is so small. On stage, I built a component that was 7 kilobytes, and then I plugged it into an application harness that was 250 kilobytes. And what that meant was I could scale from 0 with 0 cold starts. So we're really addressing the sort of core fundamental problems that we have with containers today with WebAssembly.
Fantastic. Okay, so WASM is kind of really a growth area at the moment. We're seeing a lot of focus on WASM Cloud and so on. Where do you kind of see some of the advancements, later on this year, maybe into 2026 in this space? And certainly orchestration, is one of those. And although we can maybe kind of retrofit, Kubernetes into that kind of space for orchestration, I think it's good that we also look at other spaces as well. So we actually focus on, solutions that are optimized for that particular space, not kind of shoehorn something that's kind of, designed for something else in the past. But what's kind of, WASM, what's on the WASM horizon for you?
Yeah, I think we see 2 distinct patterns of WebAssembly adoption in cloud native right now. I'll talk about the one we haven't talked about yet, which is WebAssembly as a plugin. When we think about the unique properties of WebAssembly, all code is a tiny independent sandbox. It's perfect for things like plugins. So all throughout the CNCF, we've seen many other projects like Istio, like Envoy, like Controller, start to adopt WebAssembly as their plugin of choice. The second use case that we see huge growth in is people adopting WebAssembly for their microservices or event sourcing or other application architectures on top of their existing Kubernetes platforms. And that's where CNCF WASM Cloud and Cosmonic both come into play. In the WASM Cloud ecosystem, we give you operators, CRDs, so you can run WebAssembly components adjacent to your existing microservices. You can look for those use cases where WebAssembly is a slam dunk, lots of scaling to 0, platform engineering teams, harness teams, things like that, while still using virtual machines, containers, and Kubernetes as you are today. Honestly, it's like every other epic of tech. You adopt it in a strangler pattern, one body part at a time.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you very much, William, for your time. Hopefully we can get a chance to maybe have you on our YouTube channel as well, kind of explore the WASM cloud space a little bit more. I thought that would be a really good idea.
And thank you so much to everyone that watches this video either live or later, but most of all to you for being such a great collaborator and helping us all share our messages and work on building better together.
Absolutely. Thanks very much for your time.
Yep, thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Cool. So that was Wasm Cloud, guys. Really good conversation, and definitely, I think the whole space around WebAssembly is, moving on, progressing quite nicely. I think there were some interesting things coming up as well for rest of the year that Liam talked about. So yeah, I think all looking nice and bright.
Awesome, great. So I think we are top of the hour, and if you have final few booths we can visit, but Colin is here with us, and Colin, remind me of in this live stream, we haven't talked about much Chromeware, and now we're closing on, and I sure you met some customers, some people around what you have been doing on the Chromeware as well. So I want to know what's you guys been building. So please educate me around this.
Yeah, Colin, tell us what you've been up to.
My gosh. And I'll be quick because they're kicking us out and giving us really dirty looks. So before I sign off, so Chrome is focused on the development patterns. We're implementing different solutions and combining things. We're doing integrations. Basically, we're trying to make it easy to bring all of these tools and all of these vendors together and implement them the right way the first time. And so after we get a customer into our patterns, we continue to help maintain and get them into more capabilities and bring in additional technologies as we bring them on for ourselves. So it's really kind of subscribing to the way that we do things so that you don't have to think about it and you can get it right the first time. So we're having a lot of fun doing that, and it's exposing us into all kinds of incredible challenges and industries. And because of that, we commit to all kinds of open source projects, like too many to name. But it's a great way. We're embedded into the ecosystem, and it's a great way to give back. But yeah, I got to get out of here. They're kicking me out. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks a bunch. Richard, you're probably getting yelled at too.
Yeah, I'm being kicked out as well. I think it's getting, it's emptying out, as you can probably see. So,
So
all the,
I think
they're closing out early tonight.
Yes, we need to do a quick conclusion here. Sorry for that, but thank you very much. So this is our last day of the KubeCon coverage. So just a quick recap before we go live, before we actually close off the conversation. So first with you, and then with Richard, then first with Richard, and then with Colin.
So I think it's been really interesting. I mean, there's no way that we can really do this conference justice. In fact, you can probably not be able to do it justice even if you attended. But at least if you're in person, you will get to connect with people, go to some talks and things like that. I think, we picked up a lot of themes. I'm sure Colin will reflect on that as well. Certainly platform engineering and AI, WebAssembly, and kind of, the toil, removing the toil really from not just engineers and DevOps folks, but actually just customers in general. I think that's really kind of an area that's been in discussion, which is good, and I really like that. I got to fulfill my wish, which was to actually talk to Aviatrix. I know it's boring networking kind of stuff. You guys might find it boring, but I love it, so I really enjoyed doing that. Hopefully, we're going to get those guys back on again. I will be back here tomorrow because I'm actually seeing a customer, so my duties have not finished yet. So I'll be seeing a customer tomorrow here, a real life customer. Wow. Okay, that'll be interesting. Yes, I know. Actually have to do some work as well, which is great. So there you go. So I'll be doing that. But yeah, I mean, it's been really fantastic. The atmosphere has been great. Despite some of the booths actually being quite full and lots of people on there and so on, nevertheless, it's actually been really, really good in terms of, not having too many queues for things, or lines, as you guys call it in the US. Everything was available. Food was plenty. Really good service from the security and everybody else here as well. All the catering teams have been fantastic. I think Excel has really excelled, shall we say?
Yes.
I'm going to just live on the, having broken the all-time record of attendees. I'm going to live on that for a long time. But at least until the next KubeCon, anyway.
Absolutely. So I think, now I go to the Colin, and number one, once again, tons of appreciation for the Colin. And he is now becoming a permanent member of the live stream. That is good. So Colin, we should make sure we can give some swag to our field reporter because he is very wonderful, conducting interview with some wonderful folks. Has wonderful. He pick up some wonderful gear so people can be able to hear all the good things around the conference as well. So, Colin, thank you very much for doing this for the second time.
Thank you, guys.
This YouTube channel as well. But it's up to you. Give us a wonderful, because you're a very good concluder for the KubeCon. So it's up to you before we wrap up the live stream.
I can't hear you. Say that again.
I'm saying just give us a conclusion because you're a wonderful presenter. So your conclusion matters a lot.
I think we got 1 day left. We're all exhausted, but in a good way. We're ready to come back and attack in the morning. I don't think the crowd is going to be as big, but it gives us a chance to catch up and talk with some of the people we haven't yet. But looking forward to KubeCon in Atlanta as well. People are already talking about that and trying to figure out where to stay. So tomorrow I'll be going and browsing through a bunch of projects with community groups, seeing what we can do to contribute there. But thank you guys for having us. We'll see what we can do tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Tons of appreciation for you because you are busy. You have some customer engagement. You have talks you have given out. So thank you very much for doing this. It's been a pleasure talking to you for the last 3 days. Been some great hangout session with you as well. So once again,
Yeah, it's been cool. Thank you, Colin.
Have a wonderful day, and we will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.